I'm Jeff Gibby. Thanks for coming today. It's good to see you. If you're watching this now or in the future on YouTube, do me a favor. It helps a great deal. I can't even explain how much it helps. But if you like and subscribe, that helps us get the message out. The larger we can grow the audience, the more excited we get about getting people in here and bigger speakers, bigger events, all that kind of stuff. So it would help out immensely if you just like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And if you do that, I'll make sure we keep having some of the greatest events in the investing industry. So do we have a deal? Go ahead, like, subscribe. I appreciate it. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I thank you for coming. Today, as you can kind of see by the screenshot, we've got a back to the basics with day trading with Marina. Marina's a good friend of ours. She's been doing helping people get started in day trading for a number of years. I'm going to let her kind of talk a little bit more about that. As you probably know, I need to read a legal disclaimer or recite it from heart, one of those two things. So today's demonstration is designed to instruct you on using MetaStock and the accompanying software plugins. It is not a recommendation to buy or sell, but rather guidelines to interpreting and using specific indicators and features within the software. MetaStock and its employees shall have no liability for any investment decisions based on the use of the software, trading strategies, or any information provided in combination with the company. MetaStock and its employees do not endorse the purchase of a security, nor is it paid for the promotion of a security. No information contained in the presentation today should be construed as investment advice or the solicitation for you to buy a security. So with that being said, Marina is our guest today. We've had Marina come in and she's spoken at a number of our events. She's going to talk a lot about kind of the mechanics of day trading. She does a super good job. You're going to enjoy her. We're going to go ahead and bring her on here now. Marina, how are you doing?
Oh, hello, hi.
Hey, I can hear you.
And I actually want to share my webcam if that's possible.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
There you are.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, you look great.
Hi, everyone. Hi there. Thanks so much for having me, and everybody, thanks for being here. It's already almost the end of January, which just blows my mind, by the way. 2025 is already zipping on by, which is a good thing.
Yeah. They say the older you get, the faster it goes. And for me, it's gone pretty fast already.
My kids are teens and early 20s, and they're saying the same thing. So I don't know about the age thing anymore. I think it's just, time is just relative. It's just flying.
Maybe. I did send you the screen share too. You should see a little thing that says, do you want to share your screen?
I see it. Just give me half a sec here.
Take your time.
How do I? All right. Are you able to see my screen?
Absolutely. Looks perfect.
Okay, great.
I'm really good at this part of it. What I'm going to do now is get out of the way. It's your turn. Go.
Okay. Bye, Jeff. I'm also going to turn off my webcam so that we could focus on the presentation. And again, thank you everybody for being here, and let's dive right in. Let me just make sure that I could stop the webcam. There we go. All right. So, Marina the Trader Chick, this is me. And hang on. Okay. And today we are going to be covering, I actually really liked that word, the mechanics of day trading. Jeff, I am going to be now using that word. I've never used that, but that is exactly what I will be talking about. Because the thing is, yeah, I know. It's such a perfect word for what I actually teach, is the mechanics of it. Yeah, it's the thing is, look, guys, with trading, especially in the financial markets, a lot of people just want to dive in, or they want to follow somebody's system without understanding that system, which is fine. You know, I think that's a great idea, but you need to understand the mechanics. It's literally the same as, I remember when I took my driving classes, you know, many years ago, my driving instructor had their own accelerator and their own brake pedals, right? And granted, I was learning, but I always had that notion that they are going to take over if something happens, right? And when they finally got out of the car, I kid you not, within 2 weeks, I totaled my car, even though I got my license 2 weeks later, because I never fully learned. And I now today, because when my kid was learning and I see that my husband actually had to retake his driver's license when we moved to Spain, they don't do that anymore, and probably for good reason. So what happens in the trading industry is that there's so many chat rooms, alerts, and all of that, and people showing you about, this is where they entered and this is where they exited. But when you're not understanding why it's happening, you're not going to be able to do it, right? You're just going to be following along, and chances are when you follow along, what happens? You start to chase trades, you start to not understand fully where you're entering. So today, the goal is for you to fully understand why you are doing what you are going to do. Even if you are sitting and listening to somebody's strategy, it's great, not a problem. But again, it's their strategy. And unless you understand and own your own charts and own your understanding of what is happening, it's never going to happen. And I know that a lot of people today are going into AI. I get it. But again, if you don't understand what is happening, you're just going to trust something that doesn't make any sense. And that's not really trusting. That's literally just leaping. Okay. And you don't want to just leap. You definitely do not want to do a coin toss neither, right? Because 50-50 is not where we want to be when we are in the financial markets with our hard-earned money. This is so important, guys. So today, I am going to just show you the basics about it. And let me tell you, this alone, I can actually guarantee this alone will completely elevate and take your trading, your investing, whatever it is that you are doing in the financial markets to a completely different level, one that you are able to most likely start to profit and really have the confidence. Okay, so that is what I will be talking about with you guys today. But before we jump in, it's the official intro and fun facts. I am Marina, the Trader Chick. I am an expat. I live in Barcelona. And you can see here, this is me in Barcelona. So I've been an expat actually now for over 22 years. We moved to Barcelona 2 years ago, but before this, we were living in Guatemala and Costa Rica for almost 20 years. And one thing I have to say is being an expat is without a doubt probably one of the best decisions that my family and I have made and raised our kids, simply because it just really allows them to be much more open-minded, and us as well. And I get a lot of times whenever I tell people that I'm an expat, people are like, oh, I wish I could be an expat. Oh, I want to be that. So anyone can today. You don't have to move there permanently. You could do for even 1 year, because the issue of internet, it doesn't exist anymore. There's internet absolutely everywhere in the world. Okay. And another thing is, before I was a day trader, I was actually a fitness instructor and a travel writer. And the main reason why I bring up that I was a fitness instructor is because a lot of people have this misconception that you need to come from a math background, an engineering background, financial or an economics background. And I have to tell you, totally untrue. Anyone can come from any background and be a successful day trader, but you do need to put in the time and you need to put in the effort, right? It's with everything. You have to learn how to do anything you do, right? You can't just do it. You couldn't just get in a car and go. You do need to learn the basics of the car. Where is the steering wheel? Where is the brake? Where is the accelerator? And that goes for everything. And it doesn't matter if you are a Formula One racer or if you're, just learning for the first time. Everybody could be a successful driver the same as everybody could be a successful day trader. And that's what we really want to do. And the cool thing about day trading is that you literally can do it from absolutely anywhere in the world. So before I dive in, I know that you guys are going to be getting this entire presentation. So I have a worksheet for you guys that you could go along with the presentation 100% for free. You could go here to makingofadaytrader.com. You could download it for free, and this way You could go along with it and understand it at your own pace as well, because we only have a certain amount of time together. So I just want to make sure that you guys are getting the most out of it. So go here, makingoфadaytrader.com, download it completely for free. You'll be able to get it in seconds. Okay, so let's talk. What in the world is day trading? Why is it not investing? So first and foremost, unlike investing, day trading, you do not want to diversify. Okay, the thing is, look, what I tell my children is, if you could get one thing out of any lesson, out of any book, out of any video, that is the one thing to implement. So today, my goal for you guys is, if you could implement one thing out of everything I tell you, let's start there. Just, focus on just learning one thing that you could implement immediately. And again, because you're going to have the recording, you could go back and then add on. So one of the most important things that I really want to focus on is, unlike investing, you want to stick to one specific thing when you begin to day trade. Okay, imagine you have a child, or a child comes up to you and they're like, hey, I want to learn how to play an instrument. And you're like, oh, cool. Which instrument do you want to play? And they're like, well, I want to learn how to play the piano, the guitar, the drums, or the violin, right? You look at them and you're like, it's a better idea to just choose one instrument, because all of these instruments are really different, right? Because what happens if you start to do all instruments, you end up doing no instruments, right? So you really want to focus on that one musical instrument. And when you really got it, you don't have to be a master at it. Of course, it's better. Then you could consider starting another musical instrument, right? I always give this analogy with Liberace. We all know who Liberace is. Love him, hate him, I don't care. That's not the point. The point is, the man was a master pianist, right? He mastered the piano. He was brilliant at it. If he was given a violin, he probably would do pretty good. He's just a musically inclined guy, right? But he knew his craft and he stuck to it. This is the same thing for day trading, guys. I get so many people that are like, oh, I want to learn how to day trade. I want to do equities, crypto, and futures. I'm like, they're all so remarkably different that you cannot possibly do them all at once. It's not possible, right? They're just too different. So it's really important to find the one that really is of interest to you, and then devote that time to learning it. And in this particular case, you want to master it. And what does it mean to master an instrument in day trading? You start to be profitable consistently, right? The thing is, it's a massive misconception that the more you trade, the more you make. On the contrary, the more you trade, the more you lose, because you're just too scattered, okay? So you need to focus on the one instrument. The other thing about investors versus day trading is that investors actually care about the company they are investing in. Okay, so for instance, if you invested in Apple, you would care about their Apple, I don't even know what phone they're on, 17, right? That they're coming out with Apple 17, the iPhone 17. But if you're a day trader, you don't care if it's going down or up in that day, because you certainly don't care what's going to happen in 3 months, right? Because investors in 3 months waiting for that iPhone to come out, you're okay to sit through the ups and downs without really caring that much. But day trading, on the other case, you want to focus on what is happening in front of you. And if it's going down, you want to start to profit off the down market. The same goes if you want to go up. And interestingly enough, the majority of day traders make more money on the down than they do on the up, simply because it goes down much faster. Okay, so now I want to start to bust some myths. Myths is another way of calling myths is limiting beliefs, misconceptions, stories that don't serve us, okay? I want to bust them today, because what happens with a lot of these stories that totally do not serve us, what happens? They keep us from moving forward, right? They keep us from growing. So once we could bust them and rewrite those stories, all of a sudden we have this freedom to move, right? And that is exactly what we're going to talk about today. First of all, we're going to do this. Think about gambling, okay? What does that actually mean? So we definitely put gambling usually to when the casino or a lot of times the financial markets, but let's pretend, just think of this scenario in your head. Imagine you want to learn how to fly a plane. Excuse me, you want to learn how to fly a plane. Are you gonna jump in the plane the very next day and take off? No, it's a massive gamble, right? Because you don't know anything at all that happens when you are flying that plane, because you might accidentally or miraculously figure out how to take off, but then you have to land. So usually it's a kamikaze mission when you just hop in and not have any idea of what you're doing, right? Plus, it's ludicrous. You would never do that. Like, you know that you have to go to pilot school, you have to do simulation hours, you have to actually learn, right? Why is it that just because we earn some money and we have some money or come into some money, we think that we can become millionaires and go straight into the market? And then, of course, we lose it because we have absolutely no strategy. We have not learned anything. And then we're like, oh, it's a gamble. It's not, though, right? So once you actually learn how to trade, when you actually learn a strategy, and let me tell you, it is so doable. I don't want to say it's easy because it's obviously not, but it's quite simple to get a really strong strategy and then apply it. And guess what? The majority of the gamble, actually, I would say all the gamble is taken off the table because you're also having a risk management in place, which tells the market exactly how much you want to risk, and it's not gambling all your money. Okay, the next misconception is that you need $25,000 to get started. This misconception is a complete and total lie today. This was born from many years ago before the internet. $25,000, if you had in your broker account, that means you could apply for a margin account, right? Actually, brokers made it so that it was a perk for you to have a margin account. It is not a perk. I'm going to talk a lot more about this margin account. I call it loan sharking. Today, you could easily start with $100, $500, and yes, you could day trade regardless of the kind of account that you have and the kind of brokerage that you are with. Okay, and that's the beauty of it. You do not need to have this much money. You can start with a very small account. And like I said before, you do not need to be a math whiz. I have absolutely no use for numbers when I trade. None. I use technical analysis, nothing to do with numbers. And if I do ever use numbers, which is usually calculating my profits and my losses, I can do that with a calculator. I don't even, so there's no point to any of this. And the other one is that it's stressful and chaotic. Well, if you're sitting in front of this, who isn't going to be stressed? I mean, this is completely unsustainable, guys. The human mind cannot manage this. I know that it looks pretty hot. It looks, fun and gadgets and blinks and all that, but it is so not sustainable. It is literally, first of all, it will give you massive analysis paralysis, okay? Or paralysis analysis. I don't even know how to say that properly. Paralysis analysis, right? It's not possible, guys. It's also unsustainable. After about 6 months to a year, you'll burn out if you even last that long. I personally have one monitor, one chart, and 2 indicators. That's it. No bells and whistles. The simpler you go, the more you start to become professional and consistent. And the other thing is what I was saying earlier is the buzzing and the softwares and the indicators. So what happens is, and this is actually a thing, you can even look it up, it's called the shiny object syndrome, right? And what happens is that when we don't apply ourselves to learn something, specifically in this case, to learn how to trade better, we believe that if we buy this software, if we buy this algorithm, that we are going to start to make more money. The only people making money are the ones selling those algorithms or selling those indicators. When you have a really strong platform like MetaStock, you do not need to buy any extra softwares or anything because it comes really with amazing indicators. It has all this data and information that the only thing you really need to, I don't even want to say invest because it's a very small nominal fee, but you do need to have a really strong charting software. You do. There's no way to go around it. But do not get caught in that shiny object in syndrome. Okay, you do not need to be buying the latest and the greatest new gadgets and algorithms because they're not really. Okay, if you know how to use your indicators, your charting software, and you understand what's going on in front of you, you won't need any of it. And news. Oh, this is another one. I mean, right now, can we just talk about the news and the hype and the craziness? I mean, honestly, right? I mean, just today, what was it? I think Oracle, right? That Donald Trump announced about this huge AI commitment. Oh my God, I mean, that stock soared. It soared like 30 points. The thing is, you know, there's a thing called buy on the rumors, sell on the news. I never, ever, for day trading, I don't touch the news. I don't, because it's just a lot of pundits that want to just, you know, like these talking heads that they have their own agenda. And normally the only people benefit from it are them. I personally do not do any market research. I don't do any research because I fully rely on my technical analysis. I am the biggest believer of technical analysis. And once you really understand technical analysis, you'll recognize that you don't need to waste any time on the news either. All right. So this particular thing is for day trading. And again, this is another thing. There's quite a lot of things that are involved with day trading simply because it is such an emotional activity, right? This is called trigger happy. And I know for a fact that anybody who begins trading has gone through it at one point or another. I personally did it, and every single other trader that I have met along the way has at one point been through this. So what is being trigger happy? That you are just in and out nonstop of trades. We're talking like when at one point, I was in for a 2-hour session and I was in and out like 40 trades. 40 trades, that is absolutely obscene. Even if I was winning, I would be completely devoured with my commissions. Okay, the thing is, the most important understanding or a really strong analogy would be pro day traders are like big game hunters. I don't condone hunting, but it's just such a perfect analogy. When a big game hunter goes out hunting for the day, are they going to just shoot at a squirrel or a prairie dog or a field mouse? No, they're going to sit patiently, wait until that big game arrives. Pro traders take maybe at most 2 to 3 really powerful trades per day. Because if you have a strategy, if you know what you're looking for, that is exactly what you will be able to do. And that is the most strategic and profitable way to do it as well. And I always say the most radical way to trade is conservatively, because we all hear about these massive aggressive moves, but we don't hear about the moves that make people lose. So just remember that, okay? It's a two-edged sword. I really, really recommend the conservative route. And small profits daily, they're the ones that bring you the big profits yearly because you are consistent. Okay, this is a term that I personally coined, FOMAT. I'm sure you guys have heard of the term FOMO, fear of missing out. So it goes exactly the same for fear of missing a trade. How many of you guys have been in a trade that you chased because you felt like you were going to miss out, so you had to jump in? Once you jumped in, when you chased that trade, of course, when you chase the trade, you already have clicked on the emotional activity in your mind. So now you are chasing that trade. Of course, now the trade turns on you because you entered it too late. Then because you are so triggered, you remove the stop. Now you've ended up losing all of your money, and then you go into revenge trading. I mean, this is a massive rabbit hole that you could fall into, and it is just a horrible spiral. So here is the reality. There is always another trade coming. There's always another trade coming. If you think of the fact, oh my God, I have to catch this trade right now and there's no other trades, it's literally like saying that you're going to go to the ocean. And if you're a surfer and you see the perfect wave and you feel like that is the only wave that the ocean is ever going to give you. No, of course not. You know for a fact that there's going to be thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions, infinity amount of amazing trades. I mean, surfs or breaks. It's the exact same thing for trading, right? It's the exact same thing for trading. So you really need to understand that when you are seeing something and you're like, oh my God, I have to get in it, that is the emotional engine triggered. You need to just get out, stop, and remember, FOMO, fear of missing a trade. There are many other trades coming. All right, so now I want to come back to that really important, kind of like the pillar of it all, is that one thing that you want to focus on. So it's really important to understand what you want to trade. And the reason for that is because everything else falls into place once you know what you truly want to trade. And that will be the market that you want to focus on, the broker that you want to work with, the charting software that you want to use. It all falls into place, right? All right, so before we talk about the brokers and about the commissions, let's talk about the different markets. We all know that there is Forex, right? We all know of Forex. What is Forex? It's the foreign exchange. It's currency. The way Forex works is that you take two currencies against one another. You know, the US and the Euro is obviously one of the strongest pairs out there. And again, you don't want to go into too many pairs because they work very differently, right? If you're focusing on US versus the Euro and the Australian dollar versus the yen, they're so different, right? And when it comes to foreign exchange, it's not even about the actual currencies as much as it is the leaders, the political leaders, and what they are doing and how they are working together. And you could be, two leaders could be completely, amicable in the morning. You go in with that currency, and then during the day and towards the next morning, they already could be complete, enemies, and the whole currency thing is crazy. So you need to be really on top of what is happening, and sometimes it could be overwhelming, especially if you have too many pairs going on. Equities. I love it when people tell me, when I speak to people who are just beginning, and I'm like, so what do you want to trade? Oh, I want to trade stocks. Just the US stock market alone has over 5,000 stocks, right? 5,000. That's crazy. So if you talk to a pro trader, though, what are they going to say? If you ask them, what do you trade? Sometimes they'll say they trade sectors, maybe pharmaceuticals, technology, media, whatever, right? Entertainment. They focus on that because they understand that industry, or maybe just the big caps, maybe just the small caps. And lately, it's been incredibly powerful to just the one company, Meta, Tesla, Microsoft, Apple. These companies are strong. They're highly volatile with a lot of volume. They move really well. All right. And that's the people that make the real money, is when they focus on those big movers. Futures market. That's the other thing. When I ask people and they tell me, oh, I trade futures, I'm like, so you're trading wheat, crude, and the indexes? Again, you cannot be in 3 different vehicles at the same time expecting to be winning at any of them. You're not going to go anywhere. So even with the futures market, what is it? Which instrument are you most interested in? I personally love the E-minis. That to me is the most flowing, is the most understandable market out there for me. But you might really enjoy NASDAQ. You might really enjoy wheat. You might really enjoy crude. Super. But learn it. Stick with it. Understand it. And then move on to the next if you even want to. Options. So options is also, it's a tricky market. Again, if you don't fully understand what the different calls, the different puts are, you want to be able to truly understand. You want to be able to focus. Give it that time. Okay? And, oh, come on. Crypto right now is completely, ludicrously out of control, right? Again, crypto, there are thousands of altcoins and projects, and that's not even including Bitcoin and ETH on their own, right? So you want to be able to, again, if you are going to go into crypto, focus on which one you want to go into. Or yes, maybe you want to go into several meme coins. Great, then focus on them. But again, you need to really understand what is happening. You can't just be haphazard about it, because you're going to end up lose it all. Now, once you have figured out what you want to trade, then and only then should you go and look for a broker. It's never the other way around. I get so many people that write me that want to work with me, and they're like, okay, Marina, I've got myself a broker. I'm like, okay, cool. What is this? You know, what is your market that you want to trade? Oh, I don't know. Well, if you want to trade equities, are you going to sign up with a crypto exchange? If you want to trade futures, are you going to sign up with a broker that specializes in equities? No, right? Because once you figure out that you want to do futures, you're going to go to the broker that specializes in futures. And why is that important? Commissions, guys, commissions. A futures broker for futures traders is set up to give you the best commissions. Yes, some future brokers also give you equities and they also give you crypto, but they're going to give you higher commissions for that because they are not set up for that. Okay, so once you figure out what market you want to be in, then you choose the correct broker. Margin accounts. Now let's talk about margin accounts. Brokers have this ability to make this sound like it's a perk. It's not a perk. It is literally a loan sharking deal. What is a margin? So for instance, if you have the $25,000, as I mentioned earlier, the broker will be like, oh, we'll give you a margin account. You could borrow up to $25,000. Okay, let's pretend. So then that means now you are not only using the money that you have, now you are also borrowing. So if you win or if you lose, guess what? You still have to pay them back, and with interest. It does not matter if you lose or win. And what is really important to understand, guys, is that you do not need to do this. It is not mandatory. It is not obligatory. Okay? It is very important for you to understand this. Somebody just wrote about that the webinar has went back 10 minutes. I'm not really sure what that would mean, and how maybe on YouTube, I'm not sure. Okay, let's continue. As I mentioned earlier, once you understand the instrument that you are interested in, that is when you could now focus on the proper platform for it, and not platform as in charting software, but as in the broker. Okay, because once you have that, they're the ones that could give you the best commissions. Then they could also give you the best feed. You cannot be on delayed feed if you want to be a day trader. Delayed feed is only acceptable if you're investing, not even if you're swing trading. Okay, so it's really, really important to understand that. And platforms. I cannot stress the importance of having a good platform. MetaStock is the perfect platform for you guys for a lot of different reasons, and they have such a diverse amount of information. They have so many indicators, everything that you will need. But without a platform, forget about it. It's literally being in a Formula One race in a minivan, right? No, you need to have the right one. Okay, let's talk about the lingo. So everything in life that we do has its own pockets and its own lingo, okay? If you want to be a pilot, you're going to be learning the lingo of the pilots. If you want to be a doctor, you're going to learn the lingo of a doctor. If you want to be a pool player, you're going to learn the language of the pool player, right? It's just how it goes. The same goes for financial markets. And it absolutely amazes me that people do not learn the lingo and they just start to put the money into the market. Once you understand the basic lingo, guys, you are going to soar. So today I want to do just that. I want us to learn the basic lingo, and this way you'll understand what's going on. First and foremost, intraday trading. Okay, you're literally in and out of all your positions in the same day. Swing trading is a little bit longer. Why is this important? Because if you are a day trader, do you really want to be looking at a chart that's a week old, that's a week long? And if you want to be a swing trader, do you really want to be looking at a chart that's 1 minute? No, right? You need to understand what it is that you're doing and then choose the proper time frame that is appropriate for what you're trying to do. Bull market, literally market going up, market, bear market, market's going down, sideways market, upward trend, and downward trend. There are 3 very specific trends. Very specific trends. And if you don't understand that sideways trend is probably the most important one, you will continue losing. Because in the sideways trend, or what I like to call the trader's worst enemy, that is where the majority of our money gets lost. So please make sure that when you are looking at trends and understanding what is happening in front of you, if you're seeing a sideways market, stay out. It is completely not worth the losses. Okay, now, we've all heard about risk management, right? About putting in a stop, but profit target is as important as a risk management. Why? Because as I mentioned earlier, day trading is an incredibly emotional activity, and all the crazy demons will come and get you. Greed. Greed is probably one of the most notorious one of them all. So what happens is you have a profit target in place, and all of a sudden the market is going in your direction and it's about to hit that profit target, but you're like, you know what? It's going to continue going further and further. I'm going to remove it. And it hits your profit target, but you've already removed it. And then boom, it turns on you. And now your ego steps in, and the risk management you have in place, you remove it. You make it a mental risk, because now your ego is taking over and it's telling you that it cannot go any lower. And all of a sudden, everything is lost when you could have easily taken that profit target. You need to keep your profit target in place. If you do want to continue going a little bit further, the only thing I would recommend is to do a split target. That's the only way to actually do a target profit, nothing else. All right. And again, your charts, guys, these are the holy grails. And the majority of charts, they're interactive, meaning that you can do everything from the interface itself. You don't need to go into your broker and out into the domes. Everything is done right there from your charts. Indicators. As I mentioned earlier, indicators, if you have a really strong platform, they all have universal indicators, and that's all you truly need. And I'm going to go again right here. You have to know the trends, guys. You have to understand that it's not just an upward and it's not just a downward trend. You have to know that there's a sideways trend, and the sideways trend will eat up your money. All right, buying, going long. This is as rudimentary as it could possibly get. This is as basic as it gets. What does this mean? You're literally entering low, exiting high, and taking the profit in between. You're entering at a lower price point, exiting at a higher price point, and that's a buy. Sell, shorting the market, the exact opposite. All right, again, guys, don't overthink this. You are entering high, you are exiting low, and you are taking the money in between. You're taking that profit in between. Okay, selling, shorting the market. Please understand that. And again, as I mentioned earlier, we day traders, we make more money on the down than we would on the up. So do not overlook selling and shorting the market. All right, so what is the difference with a pro and an amateur trader? Market entry versus a limit order. So what is a limit order? A limit order is you literally are telling the market, this is where I want you to fill me. And if you don't fill me at this price range, I don't really want to go. I don't really care. A market entry, on the other hand, tells the market that you are an amateur, because what it's showing is you're looking at the chart and all of a sudden, oh my goodness, it looks good. I'm going to jump in here. That's a market entry. And because it is just so haphazard or so hasty, what the market does, it actually fines you. I bet you guys did not know that, but it's called slippage. Slippage is when you are fined between 20 to 25%. I call it a fine. Basically what it is that the market just, for instance, if you want to enter something that say that it's $1, you actually are entering it at around 120. All right. And the same goes for market exits. Okay. If you do not have a stop limit, what you do have is a mental stop, which is as useful as a mental seatbelt on your child thinking you're going to save him or her during a car accident. It's completely stupid, right? It's absolutely stupid. So market exit is exactly that. You just say you're going to get out when you want to get out. Again, slippage, you're going to lose 25%. You don't want to do that. You don't want to go there. Stop limit. You need to tell the market, this is all I am willing to risk on this trade. That removes the gamble and that removes everything else. All right, let's talk about the technical analysis. All right, I love technical analysis, and once you guys learn technical analysis, you are never going to want to go to news again. And technical analysis, the beautiful part of it, it's really simple. It can be done on any chart with any market. So what is it? Starting with areas. Areas. Look, the market respects areas, and we as the individual retail traders, we need to respect those areas just the same. Areas, support and resistance. What is a resistance area? It's literally when the market is going up and it starts to hit a ceiling. It hits it 1, 2, 3 or more times. That is a resistance area that's forming. You do not want to be entering into resistance areas. Support area. It's when the market is going down and all of a sudden starts to hit the floor of the market 3 or 4 or more times. That is a support area. You want to draw them in. Again, you do not want to be having these mental drawings or mental ideas, because when you are in a trade, you look to the left on your chart, guess what? You're going to be wondering, why did I just go into this trade? And because you have it drawn out, you understand what the rationale was. That also gives you more confidence to stay in the trade. And I personally love, this is one of my absolute favorites, is reversal patterns. Double tops, triple tops, double bottoms, triple bottoms, head and shoulders. When you see these areas, they are not indications that it's going to reverse. That's not what we're talking about. But what they are telling you is that the market is slowing down. And there might be a really high probability that it will reverse. But until it does, you don't want to be anywhere near that market. You want to just sit and watch with your hands under your seat. Divergence. Divergence is my holy grail. It's the one that I personally use for absolutely everything. Absolutely love divergence. If you look here, you can see that the price action is going up, and my indicator that I personally use is called the MACDs, and as you can see, they are going in the opposite direction. Again, is this going to be an indication that the market is going to be reversing? Maybe. But what it is 100% telling me is that the market is slowing down, it is losing its strength, and I, as a retail individual trader, do not, and I repeat this, do not want to be in a market that is losing its strength. So I will be sitting out and waiting to see what the confirmation is, and then go with what it's telling me. But when I see this, I stay out. I stay out. There's absolutely no reason for me to be putting my money on this when there's divergence. All right, guys, let's put it all together. Like I mentioned earlier, you can get the entire presentation for free here. Go to makingofadaytrader.com. The cheat sheet, you could get the cheat sheet for free and then go along with it. All right, so once we understand what is going on, once we are able to understand the technical analysis, we want to focus on the different trades. And one of the most powerful trades you could possibly have is the breakout trade. If you don't understand what a breakout trade is because you haven't put in your technical analysis, you're going to be missing out on some of the most powerful trades. So what is a breakout trade? Imagine the trend is going in one direction, and then all of a sudden, boom, It's flat. It goes absolutely nowhere. And then breaks out. It breaks out in the exact same direction. That is the breakout trade. So if you do not put in your areas, if you do not draw them in, you're going to miss out when that breakout actually happens. And instead, you might actually end up losing all your money in the consolidation leading up to that breakout. So the way I take my trades is I personally put in the order limits into my EMA lines. I use only two indicators, EMAs and MACDs. That's all that I use right there. And I focus on that. I understand what is going on. I wait for the confirmation. You can see here, this has been a massive resistance area. Finally, it breaks out. And if you look down below, I told you I use the MACDs. So the black dashed line of the MACDs, that is where it's zero. There's absolutely no strength in the market. But then all of a sudden the breakout, look at how it flies. Zero divergence. And I put in my order weighting into the EMA line. And if it fills me, boom, I know that that is probably a 90% profit chance of getting. Okay. So look here, guys, we have absolutely everything we need to take action, right? We have these amazing individual summits. We have a multi-speaker summits. We have YouTubers, gurus, podcasters, books. We have everything at our fingertips. But the real question is, how do you know that you're doing it right? How do you know that you are doing it right? Who is there to help you understand? And it's all of this is great, but really the main question that I get asked a lot is, how do I truly get started? And this is not from beginners only. I actually get this question more from the seasoned traders, the people that have been trading for quite some time and are still not consistent and profitable. They ask me, how do I turn this around so that I am consistent, that I am profitable consistently? Basically, what I was saying, it's a livelihood versus just a one-off. And all the time, I recognize the problems, and it's usually lacking understanding of the basics. It's lacking those mechanics, understanding the structure, right? That's all it is. And that is what makes it so simple to fix. It's once you get back to those basics and understand them and have them in place, boom, you are off to the races. Another good analogy is what a lot of people do without learning the basics is they put in windows without having their walls built, and the windows just keep on crashing. But once you have those walls built in, those windows stay in place. And that's what the basics are, is building those walls. It's literally like getting into a car, right? A lot of us forget when we first sat down in the car, we didn't understand anything, right? We weren't born with the knowledge of that's the steering wheel, where is the brake, where is the clutch, where is the gear shift. We aren't born with that, right? This is the basics of a car. Even today, like when we get into a rental car, we first have to understand where is the lights, where are the wipers, where are the directionals. Those are the basics, right? And once we get them, we're okay. And it's the same thing for trading. And imagine, I want you guys to go even further into the depths of your creative minds. Imagine somebody who has never ever been in a car before sits in your car and you're like, all right, buckle up, it's gonna save your life. They're like, buckle up. What am I buckling up? What is gonna save my life? If you didn't tell them or even just quickly show them where the seatbelt is, they're not gonna know this information, right? Because we're not born with these basic informations. We do need to learn this. And this was my own personal sad truth, because I spent over $20,000 of money in training and sitting in chat rooms. And honestly, I was just struggling all the time, because whenever I ask basic questions, please explain to me what is a divergence. Please explain to me what is the reversal pattern. Please explain to me how do I recognize when it's moving in one direction or a sideways trend. I was either ignored or treated as if though I was born with this information, and I wasn't. And I just kept on struggling to the point where I ended up losing almost $4,000 in 5 minutes. And at that point, I've probably been doing it for over 2 years, and I completely felt defeated. And I felt like there's just no way for me to ever learn. And you know what I ended up doing? I quit. I ended up quitting. But here's the thing. Here's the reality of what trading is to us. We are all bit by the trading bug, and it never stops itching. And do you know why that is? Because deep down inside, we know that we could do this. I quit for about 4 months. But I didn't fully quit because I was still watching others. And I kept on saying to myself, I'm like, if they can do it, I know that I can do it. If they can do it, what is it? What is that shift that I have to take to really understand? And that's when I decided to get back to the basics. So when I quit for 4 months. So before I quit, I had 3 monitors. I had over, I think, 5 charts going on. I had over 10 indicators, and I literally donated two of my monitors to my garbage men. They were almost brand new, high definition monitors. Then I removed all of my indicators, and I just had one chart, and it was the naked price action. And what I started to do is I started to put in indicators one at a time to feel out which one really resonated with me. Because there's another thing that happens a lot to us, and I personally was 100% at fault. We listen to all these different people using these different indicators, and we think that we have to use all those indicators, but in reality, we need to use the indicators that work best for us. And interestingly enough, I was using some of the more popular ones, the Kettler bands, the Bollinger bands, the Fibonacci's. And when I removed them, I felt this massive load lifted because I felt like I should be using them and they should be working for me, but they never did. And when I came back and removed everything and started to put in the indicators that worked for me, that's when I recognized that I only need the EMAs and my MACDs. And interestingly enough, several years ago, one of my students says to me, he's like, you know, Marina, your philosophy and teaching style is very similar to Coach John Wooden. And I was like, I've never heard of Coach John Wooden. I'm like, who is this guy? So of course I went and I looked him up. He was the most iconic, legendary basketball coach to this day. And his entire teaching and training philosophy was, when in doubt, get back to the basics. And I mean, this guy, his accolades were stacked, right? 10 national champions, 10 NCAAs, 88 national championships. He trained the biggest A-star basketball players. But it didn't matter, guys. Every single season, did not matter how many awards, how many championships they won, they would all start from the basics. How to tie your shoe, how to roll up your sock, how to dribble the ball. Why? Because again, egos play a big role in any part of anything that we do in life. And these guys came back, some of them with egos, that we just won all of these championships, and they would get on the court, maybe be, absent-minded, forget to tie their shoe, and boom, sprained ankle. And it didn't matter how much they won and how much they know, they're sitting out for the rest of the season, right? So you got to get back to the basics. And today I have a very special offer for participants only that are here today and also on YouTube. Thank you guys for joining on YouTube as well. I have a very special offer for you guys. It is my introductory course, Bootcamp for Day Trading. All right, I want you guys to take the minutes right now. You guys are here, so just be a little bit proactive. Just give me a few more minutes. I want you to go to your browser and put in bootcampfordaytrading.com. Put in bootcampfordaytrading.com. If you're having issues opening it up, just go into the actual URL address and remove the S. A lot of times the S is, I don't know what happens, especially with Chrome. There's like a firewall, Google's constantly doing all these updates. So just put in bootcampfordaytrading.com and remove the S, and you'll be able to follow along with everything. So Bootcamp for Day Trading, the entire course is $97 one time. This is not an ongoing fee. You are not going to be paying extra ever again. It's that one time only. So what do you guys get for $97 that is going to bring you the same on your investment, return on your investment? Do you guys like to play golf? Me and my husband love to play golf. When we first moved to Guatemala many years ago, it was one person per person, it was $25. Before we left 2 years ago, it was $119, and that was in Guatemala. Guatemala. Do you guys like to go out for lunches or even dinners and take out your friends and family? Me and my husband just celebrated our 22nd wedding anniversary, and we went out to eat. We did not get a lot because we're not big eaters, but we did enjoy a couple of glasses of wine. For two people with just hors d'oeuvres and wine was already, I think, over $100. All right, what can you guys get for $97? Not a lot. So let me break it down for you because this course will give you over 10x your return. All right, let's go. Follow me here. Go to bootcampfordaytrading.com and you'll be able to follow along. First of all, you'll get a simplified day trading package and understanding how to set up your platform. First of all, MetaStock is brilliant at helping with the whole platform setup. And I as well am here to help you set up your platform. Because once you set up the platform, then we can get into the fun stuff. And that is the actual learning, the trading, the understanding. We are going to cover entirely the market anatomy, which is all the technical analysis, right? We're going to understand those upward trends, downward trends, and really focus on the sideways trends so that you guys stay out and know when to take the really highly profitable trades. And we're going to fully focus on reversals and divergences. Once you understand divergences and reversals, you are going to be able to kill it. That has been the biggest aha moment for most, because personally for me, divergences are so simple to spot and they are so powerful. All right, we're also going to be focusing on the breakout trade because, as I mentioned earlier, the breakout trade is probably the most important and the most common trade. And if you know what you're looking for, then you're going to be able to spot it. And importantly enough, you're going to be able to avoid the fake out breakouts because they happen. And once you know what to look for, you won't be getting into them and you won't be losing on them either. Because once you understand the breakout, you'll be able to enter those highly profitable trades and you'll have unlimited access to this curriculum. Total value of all of this is at $1,600. Okay, you get the whole framework, the setup, everything. And here's what some of my students have to say. And I have students from all over the world because, as I mentioned earlier, internet is not an issue, and trading, the cool thing about it is that we could do it from anywhere in the world. So Michelle, best money ever spent. I just finished the boot camp. It's amazing. Derek, you're the only mentor that truly checks the works, and I really enjoy this. Adrian, I'm so enjoying your boot camp. I'm learning every day. So I want to go back to one important thing that I mentioned earlier. How do you know you are doing it right? How do you know you are doing it right? So who is there to be accountable for? Who is there to let you know that, yes, this is what you're doing correctly? No, you're not seeing this properly. Who is there? So for me, one thing that truly moved the needle for me was a mentor. I am including in that one-time $97 price, one entire month of coaching with me, one entire month feedback included, unlimited. You get to ask me questions, charts, you name it, and that is all included in that 1 month, because having a mentor could be what will take you to the top. All right, and I have a live trade chat room where we sit together with me. This is on top of the mentorship, and we go into live trades. We implement everything we learn in the live market. All of this is valued at $2,600. You guys get it for $97 one-time fee. So go here right now, bootcampfordaytrading.com. Take a screenshot of this as well so that you guys are able to use it later on if you can't access it right now. So just take a really quick photo of this, bootcampfordaytrading.com. And again, what do you get? Get everything in this course, 30 days one-on-one mentorship with me, and 30 days live chat room. Okay, and the reality is this is all less than one trade. The average trade is about $200 to $400, right? That's usually what I put in. Those are my trades. This is less than that. So you are able to 10x the return on your investment through all of this. And this way, go out to hundreds of these dinners. But here's the one thing that's really important to understand. Because of the mentorship, I only am able to work with 25 people. So I'm only opening up 25 spots, and I do know that there is a full house today. So it's really important to be able to just jump on it right away. All right, so here is the order form. I'm just going to go here really quickly so you guys could also see. So I'm going to put in bootcamp for daytrading.com. Okay, daytrading.com. Oops. And hang on just a second. Oops, that's not where it. All right, bootcamp for day trading. There we go. Bootcamp for daytrading.com. This is the order form. And you can see right here, it's one-time payment of $97. If by chance you want to do a payment plan, there is a two for $59 two times. And then you get automatic instant access to the course. So again, here it is, bootcamp for daytrading.com. Go here. This is the order form right here. All right, so again, take a screenshot, go here together, and now it is time for questions. So bootcamp for daytrading.com. Let me hang on a second here. Oops. Let me just send you the link for it to everybody here. Hang on a second. Oops. So as you can see here, sometimes you'll have this available. You'll just remove the S, and it will take you to the actual order form right here. Oops, and let me copy here, and I'll put it into the chat box for everybody. I think you guys are able to see it here. You can access it right
for you already.
What's that?
I think Greg put it in there. Oh, it's on there. So there you
go. Cool. All right, guys, let me know if there's any questions, and if there's any questions from YouTube, I'm here to answer anything you guys have, and thank you for taking this time to be with me.
We do have a couple questions, if you don't mind, Marina.
Sure.
One of the questions that we have is, like, what instruments does this work best for? Does it work with stocks, futures, etc.?
Oh, for every. So it's about the chart. The charts are the same for any instrument. You just need to understand which instrument you want to work with, and then once you figure that out, the charts are the same, right? Like it's going to be, you're watching price action, you're putting in indicators. So absolutely any instrument, just as long as you are willing to focus on the one. Or I personally don't recommend two in the beginning, simply because you really want to learn what is happening, and it's easier to learn from just one in the beginning.
Cool. Do you have a recommended minimum account size?
Oh no, you could start with $500 today easily. You really, guys, you don't really need to start with big accounts. It doesn't matter. The most important thing of all is that you learn how to trade. And when you start to make those profits, then you could think about the money, right? Because if you go in with $1 million and you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna end up losing $1 million. If you go in with $500, it's the same strategy, you don't lose as much, right? So small is perfect.
Stuart wants to know if you trade with tick charts or minute charts. What generally time frame are you looking at when you're trading, Marina?
So I personally love tick charts. They're my favorite. I use the 610. But if you guys are into minute charts, I recommend around 3-5 minute chart.
Cool. And just a thought. Swing trading says, or Abhishek says, I'm only making losses in day trading, but when I swing trade, I'm profitable. Do you have any advice for him?
Yeah, stick with swing trading. It looks like you're figuring that one out much more. So the only thing that I would recommend with that is to just perfect your strategy with the swing trading. Yeah. And with swing trading, you actually have more time on your hands as well, because day trading, you have to be active every day.
All right, very cool. Those are all the questions.
Okay, well, thank you. Thanks everybody for taking your time out, and thanks Jeff for inviting me. This was really fun. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. The links are in the chats. If you go ahead and kind of click on them, you can kind of take advantage of that offer. It's only 97 bucks. And also, don't forget, if you're watching us on YouTube, like and subscribe. It helps a great deal. Marina, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye,
that
everybody.
watched, thank you for coming. Appreciate it. We'll see you again soon. Thanks, Marina.
Bye.
Bye.